The palace lights shimmer. The world expects another royal duty. But tonight, something changes. Not a crown, a vow. Princess Leonor de Borbón Ortiz, no longer Spain's future queen alone, but a bride, hand in hand, with His Royal Highness Christian of Denmark. The bells of Copenhagen ring through a crisp northern sky. Crowds fill the streets, their faces lifted toward Amalienborg Palace. Flags of Spain and Denmark flutter side by side. Inside, behind gilded doors, Europe's two royal families gather, not for a summit or a state dinner, but for a moment of love that will ripple through history. Princess Leonor, radiant in an ivory silk gown embroidered with threads of Spanish gold, walks through the corridor where portraits of queens before her watch in silence. She is 19, young, yet already burdened with centuries of expectation. At her side, Queen Letizia adjusts the veil, her eyes glistening with pride and a mother's quiet ache. Across the courtyard, Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark clasps his son's shoulder. Christian, heir apparent to the Danish throne, stands tall, composed, but his breath trembles. He has been raised for duty, yet today is not about diplomacy. It is about a heart that chose, not one chosen for him. As the orchestra swells, the ancient doors open. Gasps echo through the grand chapel. Leonor steps forward. Cameras flash like falling stars, and in that instant, history feels alive. For a fleeting moment, monarchy and modernity meet in one look, one smile. But this story, this royal love, did not begin here. It began quietly, 4 years ago, behind the closed gardens of the Zarzuela Palace. During a state visit, Leonor met Christian at a private luncheon. Two heirs, two teenagers bound by destiny yet still shy, still human. They spoke of duty, of languages, of what it means to live under a crown and still long for a normal heartbeat. No one noticed at first. Not the courtiers, not the press. But letters began to travel, handwritten, sealed, discreet. A friendship deepened into something sacred. When the world went quiet during the pandemic, their conversations became a refuge. In whispered calls and encrypted messages, a bond formed, stronger than titles, untouched by politics. Fast forward to last summer, the royal yacht Danbrog anchored in Majorca. Christian visited as a guest of the Spanish royals. The press called it diplomacy. The truth, it was love, quietly tested under the sun. When Leonor laughed that day on deck, Queen Margrethe reportedly leaned toward Queen Letizia and said, "He looks at her as your husband once looked at you." And so it began, the whispers, the speculation, the coded smiles across banquets and ceremonies. But love in a royal house is never simple. Advisors on both sides warned caution. The Spanish constitution, the Danish succession laws, centuries of protocol tangled around two young hearts. Could Spain's future queen marry Denmark's future king? Would one throne lose its heir? Those questions lingered for months. Behind palace doors, lawyers and historians pored over archives. Could there be precedent? Yes, there was. In 1435, a princess of Aragon wed a Danish noble, uniting kingdoms for a generation. History, it seemed, was willing to bend again. And so came the secret engagement. Hidden from the public for 6 months. Leonor's sapphire ring, a gift from Queen Sophia, carried the inscription, Pour Amour y Deber, for love and duty. Only the family knew. The announcement came later, live from Zarzuela. The young couple stood side by side, voices trembling, but eyes steady. The world reacted as it always does, with awe, with scrutiny, with endless fascination. Social media erupted. Was it too soon? Too young? Too perfect? Yet through it all, their calm remained. Leonor continued her military training in Zaragoza, Christian fulfilled his studies in Copenhagen. They lived apart, yet parallel, each serving, each growing into their future roles, and somehow, never losing each other. And today, Copenhagen glows. Snow begins to fall outside the cathedral. Inside, silence holds as the bishop speaks, "Do you take this woman, before God and country?" Christian's voice doesn't waver. "I do." When Leonor answers, her tone is quiet, firm. "I do." It's done. Applause erupts, dignified but thunderous. In that moment, two royal lines, two nations, 2 centuries of separate destinies intertwine. The kiss, simple, sincere, echoes through marble walls. Queen Margrethe wipes a tear. King Felipe nods, a father before a king. The Spanish royal guard salutes. The Danish choir begins to sing a hymn written for this day, a blend of Spanish melody and Nordic harmony. Outside, Copenhagen cheers. Church bells ring from the harbor to the old town. People wave flags and cry and film on their phones. For one day, Europe feels small again,